Hey, what is going on, guys? It is Young here, and today I'm back in their Fortnite video. And in today's video, I'm going to be talking about Bloom in Fortnite, and I want to specifically be talking about my playstyle in Fortnite and the reason why I'm able to be so consistent and how you guys can reduce Bloom as much as possible, because Bloom is such an important thing in Fortnite. It lowers the skill gap, but at the exact same time, you could shoot right at them and then not do any damage at all because your bullets are curling left and right. So it's super annoying, but I'm going to tell you guys exactly why I'm able to be so consistent in Fortnite and reduce my Bloom as much as possible. And before we get into the video, I have a V-Buck giveaway. If you guys want a chance to win some free V-Bucks, all you need to do is to drop a like on this video, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, turn on my notifications, and leave a comment down below of your Xbox gamer tag, PSN gamer tag, or Epic account. And as well, make sure you guys have me supported as a creator on the item shop. All you need to do this is go to the item shop, hit X, type in Young Humor. That's all you have to do, and you will have me added and supported as a creator. And alright guys, let's go right to the video. Alright, so in this video, I want to be talking about Bloom and different ways you can reduce Bloom so you guys can be more consistent in Fortnite and get more wins and just overall hit more shots and win more gunfights. And for the gameplay in the background, it is I do believe it's a 17 kill solo game, and I had a bunch of people kill themselves this game. I think the last guy did, and then I had another guy before. Just people just jumping off their build or just slipping off and then dying to fall damage. Different things like that. It really could have been a 20 kill game, but it ended up being a 17, which I'm completely fine with. It's still a very good game and a very high kill game. But there's a few things that you guys want to do when it comes to reducing Bloom in Fortnite, or just avoiding, the worst Bloom you could possibly have. Because honestly, you could shoot right at the guy, your reticle is directly on them, and your bullets miss every single shot. And believe me, I've lost plenty of gunfights with my assault rifle time after time again to just people who have just out-bloomed me, I guess you could say. Just have had better Bloom than me, because I've been shooting right at them, and for whatever reason, their bullets just want to connect more than mine. So the thing about Bloom in Fortnite is it really messes up with your consistency. It's not going to be very consistent because Bloom can go all over the place, so it's not very consistent. So if you want to be more consistent in this game, you have to figure out ways to reduce the amount of Bloom that you're going to get and just overall your playstyle. And for me, my playstyle, I play very, very aggressive. You're going to see me in almost every single one of my gameplays always going tilted towers game after game. And if I'm not going tilted, I'm probably dropping like retail because it's an earlier drop. Because there has been some games where there's not as many people going tilted, and there might be more people going to the other places because it's first drop off the bus. But anyways, most games I'm going tilted towers, and I'm playing very, very aggressive, grabbing a few shield pots. And as soon as I grab shield, I grab a shotgun, maybe an SMG or an AR, and then I'm immediately pushing and I'm just going in. And the playstyle I have is a really good reason on why I'm able to reduce my Bloom and just overall be more consistent in Fortnite. Because when you want to reduce your Bloom, you always want to try to be as close to the other player as possible, because the further you are away, the more likely your shots are going to miss, because if they're closer to you, you're going to have more of their body to shoot at, and it's going to be an easier shot to take. So being at a good range, not being too far away from the other player, but being at that good range to close range is really gonna help you guys out when it comes to Bloom and just hitting your shots more. Because the closer you are, you're going to be hitting a lot more shots. So the closer you are to the other player, the better. And this might not be always the case, because if you're using an assault rifle, and the one thing that I like to talk about when it comes to the assault rifle is if you want to win more gunfights, I typically only use the assault rifle when the other player might be looking a little bit away from me, or I have a wide open shot because I can get that first shot accuracy. And when I have first shot accuracy, I have no Bloom whatsoever. But lining up a good shot and having that first shot accuracy, if the other player is already looking at you and already shooting at you, or maybe they even have a sniper rifle, it can be nearly impossible trying to get that Bloom shot without them having a really good shot on you. So it can be a little bit more tricky. So if they're maybe in a third party, or maybe they're a little bit in the distance and they haven't seen you yet, using that first shot accuracy is going to be really important for reducing your Bloom and just overall hitting more shots from that range. And probably one of my best tips I can give you guys is when it comes to my playstyle in Fortnite and it reduces my Bloom, makes me more consistent, is I'm always trying to stay as close as I can to the other player. And when I'm doing this, I'm constantly in shotgun fights, being as close as I can. Because if there's one gun in this game that I could say has the least amount of Bloom, I'm going to say it's a shotgun every single time. And for the reason of it is sometimes you might get a little bit unlucky and hit for a 30 damage shot when it really shouldn't be. But most of the time, if you're hitting for 30 damage shots, you're really missing them for the most part. You're only hitting maybe the side of their hand. And just overall, you're really not hitting the player entirely. Because if you hit the player entirely straight in the chest, you're going to be doing that 100 damage shot every single time. So in my opinion, the shotguns are the most consistent weapon in this game. So if you want to be able to take out other players and reduce your bloom as much as possible, and the SMGs do have a little bit of bloom as well, but when it comes to the close range, if you get that really good shotgun shot off, if you pull your SMG, the other player is going to be right next to you or very, very close to you. And when they're really, really close to you, it's going to be easier to hit your shots and your bloom isn't going to be as bad. So that's another really good way to reduce your bloom, because take this for example, right? So maybe you play Fortnite, you like to use the AR a lot, maybe a SCAR, it could be an M16, or whatever assault rifle that you use, and you're constantly going into fights with the assault rifle from that mid-range, and the other player already sees you, they're shooting back at you, and you might be able to win a few fights here and there if you have good aim, but at the end of the day, it's not going to be consistent, because eventually it's going to catch up to you. The other player shooting at you, they don't even have to be as skilled as you, but as long as they're shooting in your direction, they can be hitting more shots than you. They don't even have to aim better. You know, they could be completely missing their shots for the most part, but as long as they have good bloom, it's going to be hitting you every single time. So eventually, if you're constantly going to assault rifle fights after assault rifle fights, eventually bloom is going to catch up to you, and it happens to me, happens to everyone in this game. You're not going to be able to constantly be going on those high kill games and just overall be more consistent in your gunfights, because you're not going to be winning in Fortnite fight after fight if bloom is the main factor and the main reason for winning the fight. You're just not going to be able to win every single fight every single time. It's eventually going to catch up to you. And with the newer updates to shotguns, they actually do damage now. So if you hit your shots and you're point blank, you could be hitting for over 100 damage every single shot, and that's an absolute monster, an absolute tank of a gun. So taking advantage of the shotgun is really going to be a huge factor in winning Fortnite. So if you want to start winning more games and being more consistent, the shotgun is going to be your go-to weapon. Now, I'm not saying that you can't ever challenge people with the M16 from ranges, but I'm just saying that's going to be a little bit harder to win those gunfights if it's constantly like that. Because there are certain situations where you have to go for a shot on them, maybe you like it or not, maybe storm's coming in, or maybe another team's about a third party and you just have to get a few tags on the player no matter what. So there's different situations in Fortnite where you have to do some of the exceptions to the rule. Most of the time, as you guys can see in this gameplay and all of my gameplays, I'm constantly playing as aggressive as possible. I got a few tags on the guy while he was looking away. Then he launched pad over here, and then as well, I'm chasing this guy, trying to get as many shotgun shots. He gets a good tag on me right here. So now I'm just outside of the box. He's building around. So I try to go for the trap kill on this guy, and he actually got above my pyramid, unfortunately. And when I'm going into fights, I'm always trying to look for an opportunity to get a shot off with my shotgun, because you don't want to build fight, especially in Season 7, because, I mean, earlier in this gameplay, I don't know if you've seen, but I was getting attacked by like 2 or 3 planes. So there's constantly planes just ramming through builds, and then you have boom boxes, you have dynamite, and then you have RPGs, explosives, and this guy just jumps off and kills himself. You know, I just keep on losing kills over and over again. Super annoying. But in Season 7, you really especially don't want to build fight, so if you want to be as consistent as possible, just stay to the low ground as much as you can. Of course, you want to go for high ground from time to time, because once you have high ground, it is an advantage, but you have to be careful about going up too high. And while bloom and consistency go hand in hand, you always want to make sure you're trying to reduce the amount of randomness as possible, because that's what's going to cost you in your fights when it comes to randomness, bloom, or just anything in between like that. So you always want to try to reduce the amount of random stuff that can happen in your game. So going into big build fights is not going to be a way to move, or not even big build fights, but I would say medium-sized build fights, because you're going to be constantly bombarded by planes and just anything in this game that has a really easy to destroy on structures. So just to recap on everything that I said, if you want to reduce your bloom in this game, if you want to get more consistent in Fortnite and win more gunfights, you have to have a playstyle and you have to use weapons in this game that have the least amount of bloom. And weapons like that are shotguns, anything closer ranges, and as well assault rifles when it comes to first shot accuracy. And if you can get really good with the shotgun in this game, you have an aggressive playstyle, you're always playing quick, you're going to reduce the amount of bloom that you have, and you're overall going to be winning more gunfights, winning more games, getting higher kill games. So definitely the number one thing that you guys need to improve on instantly is going to be shotgun accuracy. And when it goes to the shotguns, one thing that I always do pretty much every single time that I go for a shot, unless they're point blank or whatever, if they're coming around a corner or maybe I see them in a little bit of a distance, I'm always going to be aiming for the head every single time, because headshots do so much more damage than a normal body shot. The normal body shot, if you have a blue pump, does 100 damage, and that's if you hit every pellet. You're probably going to be hitting for like 70 or 80 consistently. But if you hit for a headshot, it almost doubles. You can even that 70 damage shot you hit for a headshot, it's going to be doing 120, 130 from the exact same range. So it's going to be doing so much more damage just because you aim for the headshot and you hit the headshot. And hitting headshots in Fortnite really isn't too challenging. You just have to always try to go for them and just look for the headshot every single shot. And with that being said, that's wrap it up for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hope this video helped you guys. And if you guys could, drop a like on this video. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Turn on my notifications to be notified for every single new video. And alright guys, I will see you next video.